All right, 4.4 part 1 is all about factoring polynomials. Okay, factor the polynomial. To factor the polynomial, we have to think of what goes into both terms. Or what is the greatest common factor between 2x and 6? Okay, what do those two terms have in common? Well, 2x and 6 both have a 2 that we can take out, right? 6, we can break that down into 3 and 2. Okay, so 2 is definitely in 6. So I'm going to take a 2 out of this entire polynomial. Okay, and when I take a 2 out, what's left in this first term? What's left? Just an x, right? And then what's left in this term? 3. There, I factored out that polynomial completely. Okay, I can't factor it out any further. That's it. You can definitely check your work. If you distributed that 2 back in, you should get 2x plus 6. Okay? So, next example. Again, what do these two terms have in common? Well, there's really only one thing that they have in common, right? 7 is a prime number, so no number goes into 7, but they both have an x. And when I take an x out of that first term, what's left? Just 3x. And when I take an x out of this term, what's left? Just the 7. And that's how we factor out these polynomials. A little bit of review. How do I factor out something like this? And this is where we have to find the factors of 8. And 1 times 8, 2 times 4, and that's it, right? And then I look, which of these adds up to my middle number, 6? 2 and 4. When we write our answer, we have an x squared right here, so we write x in our first part, and then we have a 2 and a 4. And it's all addition, so we're just going to write plus 2 plus 4. There we go. We factored out that polynomial. Try it again with this one. Need the factors of 10. It's just 1 times 10 and 2 times 5. Which one adds to 7? 2 and 5 does. When we write our answer, we have an x, we have a 2, and a 5. Now I have to figure out which one's positive, which one's negative. Oh, I messed up here. This should be a positive 10, sorry. Well, if that's a positive 10 and it's negative 7, these should both be negative. Okay, and then last one. Last one, find the factors of 10. Did that in the last problem, 1 and 10. 2 and 5. And what adds up to 3? 2 and 5 in a certain way. We have x, and we have 2, and we have 5. Now we need a positive 3. So one of these has to be positive, one of these has to be negative. We need a positive 5 and negative 2. Yeah, that's our final answer right there. Next, what happens if we don't have a 1 in front of that x squared? What if it's a bigger number than 1? Well, there's this term, or this way to do this, using slide, divide, and bottoms up. And I'm going to do it that way. What I mean is if we have a number bigger than 1 in front of x squared, we slide it, and we multiply it by 21. Okay, so that 2 goes away, and we're left with x squared minus 11x And then 2 times 21 becomes 42. Okay? And we can factor this. We need to factor the 42. And 1 and 42. 2 and 21. 3 and 14. I don't think 4 goes in there. Nope. 5, 6 times 7. That's it. Okay? Now which of these would add up to 11? 3 and 14, right? So just like our last problems where we have x, we have 3, we have 14. Okay, we need a negative 11, so we need a negative 14 and a positive 3. Okay. And now we have to divide by this first number that slid over. Okay, what do I mean by that? We have to take 3 divided by 2, 14 divided by 2. Okay. If we can divide the number, like we can right here in our final answer, over here we have x minus 7. That's perfect. Leave it. But here, 3 over 2, we cannot divide 3 over 2. So we're going to slide it up, or bottoms up, to that front part. So we have 2x plus 3. Okay, try it with this one. Try it with this one. We take that 6 and we slide it over. 6 times 14, 84. So we're left with x squared minus 25x plus 84. We got to find the terms. We got to find the factor of the 84. 184, 2 and 42, 3 and... Is it 21? No. 3 and I got a calculator here. Give me 1 second. 84 divided by 3. Oh, 84 divided by 3. 28. 4 times 21. Not 5. 6 times 14. Okay, and let's see, before we even go any further, do we have something that adds up to that middle term? 25. 4 and 21 does. Absolutely. Okay, so we get x, we get 4, we get 21. And we need a negative 25, so these both have to be negative. And then we have to divide. I have this number right here. Divide by the 6. So we take that 4, divide by 6, 21 divided by 6. So what am I left with? X minus 2 over 3. And x minus... 3 goes into both those numbers, right? 7 over 2. And now, we have to bring those bottom numbers up. Bring the bottom up. So we're left with, nope, this is 3x. Minus 2 and 2x minus 7. Okay, what your worksheet will look like. We have to factor out this. Can you factor something like this out? What do all 3 of these have in common? They all have an x. We're going to take an x out. What would be left of this term if I took an x out? It would be x squared. This one, it'd be negative 4x. And this one would just be negative 5. Okay? We have x times that trinomial. We're going to find the factors to 5, which are just 1 and 5, which adds up to 4. So we have x times, and then we have x something. We have 1, we have 5. We have to get a negative 4, so that negative 5 plus 1, there's our final answer. Done. Down here, what do both these numbers have both terms have in common? They both have y's, and they're both divisible by 3. 48 divided by 3 is 16. So we can both take out a 3, and we can take out how many y's? This one has y to the 5th, this one has y to the 3rd. We can take out y to the 3rd. What would be left here? It'd just be y squared minus 16. Okay. Y squared minus 16. Now, with y squared minus 16, we can actually factor that further. We can say that's y plus 4 times y minus 4. Why? Watch me factor this out. We get y squared minus 4y plus 4y minus 16. Look what cancels out. And we're left with y squared minus 16. Okay, so we can say this is, actually, time out. Yes, okay. This would be a difference of squares. That's what this is called. So we're going to say our final answer is 3y to the 3rd times y plus 4 times y minus 4. It's a difference of squares. Y squared, and then 16 is a perfect square. That's why we can say it. Okay? Lastly, there it is. What goes into all these numbers? Definitely a 5. Right? They're all numbers are divisible by 5. We can also take out a z squared. Okay, what would be left? Z squared plus 6z plus 9. Okay. Now just breaking down this thing in parentheses. Factors of 9. 1 times 9, 3 times 3. Okay, which one adds up to that middle number? It's this one. Okay? So we get 5z squared. Then we get our z times z. We get 3, and they're both positive. We get our final answer. Next one. What do these all have in common? All they have is a w to the 8th power. And what's left in that first term? 10w squared minus 19w plus 6. And then we have this thing in the parentheses where it's not that easy factor. We have to do the slide, divide, and bottoms up. Okay, so slide that over. What's left? Just w squared minus 19w plus 60. Factors of 60, there's a lot of them. I'll start way up here since probably need that much room. 1 and 60, 2 and 30, 3 and 20, 4 and 15, 5 and 12, 6 and 10, 7, no, 8, no, so that's it. Now which of these adds up to 19? only one, right? So we get W, 4, 15. We need a negative 19, so these both have to be negative. And now we have to take that top number, remember, 10, and divide both these by 10. Simplify. And just so we remember, bring down that W to the 8. Okay, just so we don't forget about that. What's left in here? W minus 2 over 5 times W minus 3 over 2. And still bring down that W to the 8th. Now we have to slide those over. Or bottoms up, sorry, bottoms up. So we get W to the 8th power times 5W minus 2 times 2W minus 3. Final answer,